And public comments, we have Charles here to chat with us this morning. Or do you have something you'd like to share with us?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Basically, I just wanted to tell you all that I really appreciate what you all do. I mean, this has got to be very, very difficult. And I say that in light of what's going on externally and internally. I don't know if you've seen the last two morning papers, but yesterday there was a pretty darn near a page-long story about APD's stopping police shooting investigations, specifically the deer case. And then this morning there's another article about body camera policy and how it's being released to the public. And I don't know, it seems to me that my take on it is that they're trying to control the narrative by selective use of the Inspection of Public Records Act laws. So that's my take on it. Now, that's external. Internally, I want to get on the record that I've had 3 cases sitting here at the CPOA since early 2015. And I'm going to give you the numbers: 03015, 03115, and 05015.
Would you repeat those? Because
03015, 03115, and 05015. All 3 of those cases were submitted to the CPOA for investigation in early 2015. So we're going on darn near a year and a half on these cases. And it's my understanding that well, let's put it this way. I've heard a quote, I've heard a statement from the investigator that APD didn't want this investigated because they were in fear, they were having a heart attack, is the word he used, over him having findings of them violating the law, okay? And that was in May of 2015, okay? I have the audio recording of that, all right? Now, I don't know what's going on, and I don't know if I've been targeted by the CPOA as I have been by APD when it comes to inspection of public records, but I sure would like to know what is going on here, okay? And I wanted to bring that all to your attention. My understanding, I've looked at the minutes of not only this subcommittee, but also the case review subcommittee, and also past minutes of the Police Oversight Board meetings, where you guys have discussed the issues with the registration and licensing of APD cars. And that's what this is all about, okay? So I assume, I mean, I see these mentions in the minutes that there's discussions going on, okay? But yet, here we are nearly a year and a half down the road, and I've heard nothing. The last time I heard anything about this was on April 29th, 2015, when Paul Skotchdopole interviewed me as a witness in these cases. And that's the last I've heard of this. So, I just don't know what's going on. Right?
Excuse me.
So, like I said, I don't know if I've been targeted by the CPOA like I have been by APD when it comes to inspection of public records, but when you look at those 3 cases and then you look at a more recent case that I had, 25115, that was recently completed. The investigation was supposedly recently completed, and I have appealed that case. When you take a look at the record of that case, I'm really starting to question if I've been targeted by the CPOA. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Richard. Does anyone want to make a comment on this?
Well, I do.
He's
First of
the
all,
chair of the committee.
yeah. First of all, I think the case in reference to the police not having their license and those things were brought up with Maura, and we dealt with that a year ago.
Okay, because I don't remember anything about license. Is it the
It's
car
not the
registration?
license, yeah, it's
No.
the registration, the little sticker.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No,
Oh,
the
abs-
plates.
Oh, no.
Because their government plates are exempt, they shouldn't need
Yeah.
a registration.
No.
Oh, what it?
No.
then
These
help us,
vehicles
Richard.
were being, some of them were being driven around on dealer demo tags.
Oh,
Some
Oh,
of
these
them
are
had
undercover
no,
vehicles? Is that-
no ma'am,
Okay.
these were
No.
marked patrol cars.
Okay.
Some of them had no tags.
Mhm.
Okay.
Some of them,
No, I remember the case.
one I know of, the officer removed a temporary sticker from because it had expired.
Mhm.
And then the rest of the car, like I said, none of them had G plates on them.
Yeah.
And New Mexico Motor Vehicle Law does not exempt police vehicles from having license plates on
So
them.
I guess my question is, what are you looking for? Are you just looking for the records of that or the results of that?
I'm looking for the finalization of those investigations
And if I
and
remember
what the
correctly,
discipline is gonna be.
if I remember correctly, the chief ordered all vehicles
It
to,
was Huntsman that she
Yeah,
went to
I
talk
think it's
with.
Huntsman,
Myra
yeah.
went to talk
Myra
to
was-
Huntsman over your issue a year ago.
right,
Yeah. A
And-
member of the board.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,
And
and
then.
where in the police oversight ordinance does that allow her to do that?
it
Where does
doesn't.
she have the authority to do that?
I don't think she did. And we all.
She's no longer on the board.
She's
so-
no longer in the board, and the board became aware of this, that she
Yeah,
had
that was
done
during
this.
my, yeah.
Right, it's when
Okay.
you were
That was
chairperson of the board became aware of it. What's happened more recently, I don't know about the status of the complaints that you're talking about, but recently the policy on the motor pool came up to the PPRB for review, and I remembered this issue, and when it came up, there it was, not in it. And so I brought it up there, and I said, this is a problem, we get complaints, CPOA related to this, and so they said that they would go, quote, fix it. They would go talk to whoever's head of the motor pool.
And when was this?
It was probably 2 months ago.
Really?
It was
That's
quite
interesting.
recently that it came up.
Interesting. Because I have in the record that in May 9th of 2015, Chief Eden sent down a department-wide edict laying out the policies.
Well, all I can tell you is the policy that came
Very
through didn't mention this in it. And so I brought it up, and they were going to do something about it, and that's one of the things that's really hard for me, being on the policy committee, is then it goes somewhere,
Mhm.
and you never know when it's
where,
going
right.
to reemerge.
Right.
And I tried to find out from Clausen
Well, and I have,
the last time. when
So I'm
self-reimbursement.
I'm gonna talk about that a little bit in my report.
Good, okay,
Okay.
good, when we get to OPA, okay. So
But
keep
you
tuned.
But in terms of your request, I guess it has to go to the case review committee to get back to you, right? Is that not?
It was.
are these closed or are they still open?
Oh, they're still open.
Okay.
So.
And
That's why
I
don't have
still
this on my-
haven't gotten an official,
Right, and-
response.
Because we're not part of that process until
Right.
it's completed, we can't really.
Right, sure,
comment Other than
yeah,
refer
sure.
you back to Ed
Right,
Harmon, so.
I can't get an official response from him,
There you are.
where these things stand, okay?
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you
So,
being here and
yeah.
encourage your.
But as far as what you were asking, that was done starting last October in the case review subcommittee. Starting last October. And here we are, what, 9 months later?
I guess in terms of how it can link to the policy committee is that we should probably review a policy about how we give you information back on whatever. We should have a policy in how we refer information back after closure, even if this meeting or any meeting of the POB or its subcommittees,
Right,
how we get
right.
information back
Okay.
to you, so you know where we went with it and where it stopped with us
Okay.
or whatever.
One more piece of information that I think you should know is that in most of the records I've been able to obtain, none of those case numbers show up as far as the discussions going around between all the POB members.
Well, we wouldn't even, they don't even come to us till they're done, so if they're not
Right,
done, we don't
but,
know anything about them.
I have documentation showing that one of the POB members got their hands on it, and she labeled it a special case.
Right, and that was Dr. Amala McCoy.
That's right.
Right, and
And in this
That's not
special
the normal
case,
process.
right, and in this special case, she, and I'm gonna quote her, she says that there was significant false information. Okay?
Yeah.
And what that refers to is to a case that I brought before the Police Oversight Commission back in 2012.
yeah,
That case number is 210-12.
and we don't have access to those either, because that's before our existence, right? So we just don't have anything to do with
You don't
those.
have access to those files?
We just don't have anything to do with those cases. There's no reason for them to come to us, because they were completed.
But if you asked for access to those files, you wouldn't.
I'm not sure we even have legal access to those files, because that occurred before we were aboard. I mean, I
Well,
don't know if we do or
well,
not. I'm not representing that we do or we
Jot
don't.
that down as something we need to
Well,
find out.
okay, then my question to that is that if one of the
210-12.
members brought that case
Was it?
into the 3 cases that are currently being looked at, supposedly, then I would say, yes, you do have access to those files.
So, is it, did you say 210-12?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will look into the status of those cases. I have access to those cases, so I can look into the status and give you an update on where you're at. If
Okay,
they're
I really
open,
appreciate it.
it means they're somewhere in the process. It's unusual that something would be open that's that old at this point, because we've been dealing with our backlog. So that it should have been closed, but if it's not, I believe you. Have you spoken to the CPOA? Have you called them and asked them where your case was at?
I filed a NIPA request.
Yeah, I've seen emails flying around, but
Okay, well, I can find out for you and I will get back to you.
Okay, I
So-
appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Cool.
okay.
Thanks.
And do you know, we didn't introduce ourselves, you know the board members that are here, but this is
We've met
Miriam.
before.
Oh,
I'm
you've
the new
met,
deputy
and I met
analyst.
Michelle.
Yep.
Yeah, okay,
Yep.
thank you, Richard.
Thanks.
Cool.
All right, and you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting
Yeah, you
or
can.
to leave, whatever's your leisure.
I intend to stay.
Okay.
I got a camera rolling.
Oh, all right, well,
Thanks.
happy everyone combed their hair and looks so spirited.
You look great.
Oh, thank you.
But again, like I said, I want to thank you all for the work you're doing. This is tough. This is really tough. And especially with what's going on
Yeah,
that you can't control.
that is true.
Yeah.
Okay.